Hey dog. Dog's in the scene. Checking out what's going on. Let's talk tools. So, when you get a bike, you don't have to invest in any tools at all. If you're anything like me, you don't mind spending time spannering on your own stuff, spending a bit of time tinkering and working on it to save a few quid. But to save a few quid, you need to spend a few quid to get the tools together to do the work yourself. Now, you don't have to do this. You can just take your bike to a garage and keep paying people to do the work. And that's fine, if that's what you want to do. But I personally like to sit around in the driveway and do the work myself sometimes. So these are some of the tools that I'm going to talk about in this video today. We're going to talk about 5 tools that I use regularly on this bike, things that I think you probably should go out and buy if you've got any intention of maintaining your own bike, things that I use regularly. So first up is going to be a standard socket set. So the one that I use all the time, I've had this for a good few years now. I use it on my cars, I use it on the bike. This is the Halfords 125 piece socket set or something like that. So it's got absolutely everything I need in it. I've got massive sockets right the way down to smaller sockets. I've got impact drives, I've got screwdrivers, I've got Allen keys, I've got socket sets, like I say, sockets coming out my ears, spanners, all sorts of stuff. It is an absolutely brilliant piece of kit. And I actually use it for more than just the bikes and cars. It's used for DIY around the house, building flat pack furniture, fitting bits out in the kitchen and so forth. It is an absolute godsend of a kit. Now, current market price of this unit, let's have a look, see what they're selling for now. I bought this a few years ago, and now you get the Halfords socket set. Let's have a quick look. Halfords socket. 200 piece set. These now retail at £275. You can get the smaller piece set, 100 piece set for 130. And there's other ones. You get Makita do a set here, 120 piece maintenance set. Quick glance at that. I mean, that was pretty good. It's like $89.99. The benefit of having the Halfords one, though, why I go with the Halfords one and why I'd recommend that is because they have a lifetime warranty on the tools. So when you buy it, keep the receipt, because if anything breaks in that set, let's say a socket snaps in half, a socket rounds off or something like that, or one of your ratchets stops working, you can take it back to Halfords with the receipt, prove that you bought it from them. It has a lifetime warranty. They will replace that for you there and then on the spot. People will hate on it. People will say it's a really cheap basic kit, and well, that's what I'm here for. Cheap and basic, mate. That's how I live my life. So yeah, Halfords 120, 200 piece set. I don't know how many that is. The big ass set anyway. So yeah, I'd recommend that one. That's my first recommendation for when it comes to tools. The second tool I want to talk about, whether it's a tool or not, I don't know, is the Paddock Stand. So this is a Frank Thomas Paddock Stand. It cost me a whopping £35, I think it was, from J&S. Paddock Stand makes life so much easier when it comes to bike maintenance. Paddock Stand will just slot under the rear bobbins on the rear swing arm, lift that rear wheel off the ground, and when it comes to things like chain cleaning and chain maintenance, it just means I can rotate the bike's rear wheel, get all around that chain, keep it clean, keep it shiny, and do that maintenance work really, really simply. Rather than when I had the 125, before I had the Paddock Stand, it was like clean the bit of chain I could see, wheel it 100 yards up the driveway, clean the next bit, and so on and so forth. Just keep wheeling it foot by foot, and then wheel it back again to clean it back off and dry it, and then wheel it back on again to lube it, and it was just a faff. So Paddock Stand, they're really cheap. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace. People that have sold their bikes no longer ride. You'll find them on Marketplace for like 15 to 20 quid. But I was in J&S, it was on offer, it was £35, so I snapped it up when I was in there. Yeah, Paddock Stand, really, really simple. One of the first things you should buy as well if you're getting into bike maintenance yourself. So since we've talked about the Paddock Stand, I think it's only right we talk about chain maintenance and chain cleaning. So chain maintenance and chain cleaning is something that there's no excuse for skimping out on these days. There's plenty of tools and kits and stuff out there on the market. I use True Tension just because I've done my research. They seem to sell the right stuff for my bike. There's different companies, different brands out there that sell different chain lubes and cleaners, whether it be for O-ring chains or X-ring chains and blah, 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 blah. Whether you're off-roading or riding all year round, that sort of stuff. Different lubes for different climates. So do your research and find the kit that works for your bike. I went for True Tension because the price was great. There was about 25, 30 quid, something like that. In fact, it might have been cheap. I think I got it on sale. I think it was about 18 quid for the cleaner and the lube and the brush. Yeah, great little setup. Makes life really, really easy. If you've not got the chain cleaning brush, definitely get one. Let me come around here and grab it. I'll show you what it does. So the chain cleaning brush itself, that's the chain cleaning brush. So, yep, as you see, chain goes in that end. and then you've got that end there for cleaning things like your sprocket and getting to the hard to reach areas and stuff. But yeah, it's very, very simple. We just stick that end on the chain, wheel the reel around, spray it down with the cleaner, scrub it off on that end, wipe any excess down on that end. It's good for things like sprockets, getting into the hard to reach areas, scrubbing things off. So that's your chain cleaning brush. That came with the kit. Like I say, it was about 18 quid for the kit, the chain lube, the cleaner and the brush. Do your research, as I've mentioned, find the right one for you. But if you are getting into your own bike maintenance, that's going to be an essential, because as I said at the very top of this bit, there is absolutely no excuse this day and age to have a bike with a dirty chain, because kits themselves to clean them, really, really cheap, really easy. And by cleaning it, you're just going to extend the life of that chain. Make sure you have no issues with the chain coming off whilst riding, causing any accidents or anything like that. And it just means that you extend the longevity of your chain. You're not paying out for a new chain and sprocket so soon. You can make this last a couple of years longer. Okay, sticking with the making things last longer and extend the life of things, the next tool I'm going to talk about is a tyre pressure gauge. So I actually use one out the boot of my Nissan Qashqai. So that there is my tyre pressure gauge. Really, really simple thing to use. You just stick the end for the tyre onto the tyre valve. The little dial on the front of it will then come up to how the tyre pressure, what tyre pressure and stuff is in your current tyres. And if it needs pumping up, you can hit that switch and it just starts automatically pumping the tyre up. Or if it needs air letting out of it, you can just loosen the valve ever so slightly, let a bit of air out if you've overinflated it. Now, pro tip, if you're looking for your tyre pressures, you'll find them in the manual for your bike, or you'll find them somewhere on the frame. Mine are stuck just here at the front of the frame. So all my tyre pressure and stuff are written in there. It's always worth checking your tyre pressures every couple of weeks, especially during riding season. Getting that bike in and out of the garage, riding it around, just make sure you're plugging that in occasionally to check your tyre pressures. Make sure that they are where they need to be for when you're out on the bike, because it's a safety thing. The only thing in contact with the road whilst you're on that bike is the tyres. Well, hopefully it's the only thing. Maybe your knee, maybe your knees, maybe you're a better rider than I am, maybe your knee's in contact with the road as well. But ultimately, your tyres are what's keeping you upright, keeping you moving. So checking the tyres regularly. Another little thing to check on the tyres, this isn't a tool, this is a little pro tip. When you're looking at your tyres, you'll find little wear bars within the grooves. I don't have a tyre depth gauge. I tend to just use a 20p coin, but you can get these little depth gauge things. But if you haven't got one, you can use a 20p coin. It's the lip of that 20p coin, that little ridged edge. If that's not visible when it's in the tread, you've got plenty of tread. But also, if you haven't got a 20p coin to hand, just look for the little wear bars in the tyres. That'll tell you whether your tyre is nearing the end of its life or not. I could probably do with a new rear in the next few thousand miles, because mine are getting quite low, as we can see. So that's the tyre depth, tyre pressure gauge, sorry. Okay, the next tool I'm going to talk about, I would say this is something that, if you're like me and a fair weather biker, you're going to need to invest in, and that is going to be the trickle charger, as you see just down the front there. So this thing will plug onto your battery, plug into the wall, and over winter periods, long periods of storage, it'll just keep your battery optimized. So it won't overcharge it, but it won't keep pumping power into it when it's fully charged. It will just keep it topped up, trickling it over, and ensuring that it's in optimal condition for when you want to get the bike out in the summer. A lot of people will find, like new bikers and stuff, will find that when they've put their bike in storage over winter, not wanting to go out in the snow, the rain, that sort of stuff, that their bike's battery has completely died on them over the winter months. And you've got this unreliable battery that you might start it and run it out for a quick bit. Then when you get to your destination and turn the bike off, it won't start again. That's because your battery's completely fluffed. You've just put enough charge in it to get it started. It's not holding charge. It's completely died by the time you get to your destination. So yeah, I would be recommending getting yourself a trickle charger battery optimizer set up like that. Mine doubles up as a jump starter, so I can use that as well. So if my battery does go completely flat, I can plug it in, jump start the battery, do some shopping around. Mine was pretty cheap. It was a, middle of Lidl shopping aisle special jobby. What I would say as well with your bike, look for where your battery is on the bike to make sure you're getting the right one for your bike, because I bought that when I had my Yamaha and the battery was under the seat. It was great because it just plugged straight on. You could just take the seat off, plug it on, leave that resting under where the seat would sit, and it would just do its job over the winter. Absolutely fine. Because my new bike is Italian, and Italians like to make things difficult, my new battery is in here somewhere, inside that. And the positive terminal is at the bottom, no, at the top, sorry, and the negative terminal is at the bottom. So it's all sideways and twisted, which means it's really difficult to get that onto the bloody battery to charge it. So doing some shopping around, I can actually get a Ducati set which plugs into 2 empty plugs underneath the seat. Obviously, Ducati charge a premium, so for the time being, I'm just making do with that and just faffing to get it to mount. So there are cheap options like that out there, but do some research. If you do own a silly Italian bike like I do, just double check where your battery is and see if there's a kit specific to the bike that you might want to invest in instead. Okay, and the final tool I want to talk about is something that I bought when I bought this bike that I've got through this many years without one. We talk about torque specs, making sure things are torqued up properly and everything's as it should be. Like car tyres and wheels, for instance, take a wheel off a car, you're meant to torque it to the right spec, engine mounts and so forth. For over the years, I have just done so many ugga-duggers with the torque ratchet wrench. Just bang it on and hope it holds. It's not scientific, it's not safe, it's not good. So with the bike, I actually invested in a torque wrench. It was about £40 off Amazon, next day delivery. Torque wrench just allows me to make sure that things like this, when I was fitting these, for example, they have to be torqued up because they're actually the engine mount bolts. And I thought to myself, I should probably make sure everything's torqued up to spec, because the last thing I want to do is either thread a bolt, have something come loose to me whilst I'm out on a ride, and the engine fall out. So yeah, with that one, I did buy a torque wrench, and it's quite important actually when doing any work on any vehicle, whether it's cars or bikes, that you are torquing things to spec. Because the last thing you want is a wheel to come off or something to fall out or something to break on the bike or the car. So yes, torque wrench was the other tool that I felt was essential to go out and buy. And that is it. So grand total, not a huge amount of money to invest in getting your own tools. And with these tools, you should be able to do pretty much every single job you need to do on the bike. Service it, change oil filters, fit parts, clean and maintain the chain, take wheels off to get tyres replaced and so forth. Like that full setup that I've just explained to you there should 99% do the job. The only thing I can think I am missing is probably a front paddock stand, should I want to take both wheels off at the same time. So yeah, I think that's everything. That's all the tools. They shouldn't break the bank. There's not a huge amount of money invested in the tools and the gear, but it's pretty much everything you're going to need to maintain and look after your own bike, and save yourself a few quid in the long run, having to take it to the garage for every piece of work you want doing to it. So hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully I've been helpful. If you've liked this video, please like, subscribe, follow along for more content. The best way you can support me and motivate me to get back out and do more of these videos and keep talking about bikes is if you like and subscribe, and I'll start seeing this channel growing. So yeah, I would appreciate it. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. Instagram and TikTok on the handles below. Yeah, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. You're right, dog. Yeah, so do your research into the right chain cleaner and lube. Lube.